So recently it's come to my attention that a lot of people my age, they don't really know where to put their money. They don't know what to do with their money. There's always throwing that cash into a savings account or, spending it. Not a lot of people know how to grow their money. It's kind of sad to watch because, they're throwing all this cash into a savings account and it could be making so much more money in a different place. I'm definitely not the type to sell you a Forex scam, okay? 100% just don't even mess with Forex. There's a lot of shady people in that area. But what I'm trying to talk about is the stock market. Now, a lot of people are afraid of the stock market because, oh my god, look at all these ups and downs, and they always imagine the line graph or line chart, of the Dow or the Nasdaq. And it's always moving up and down. It's oh, it's so risky. You got it. Some people have lost thousands of dollars on the stock market, myself included. I lost $2,000 during this whole virus crash situation. What people don't know is that there's a better way to play the stock market game. It's a really great way to grow your money that you don't plan to be using for a long time. What I suggest to people whenever they ask me how do I get started in the stock market, you gotta play for the long run, Don't try to time the market. Get your cash into a couple of companies in a growing industry. Personally, my favorite is financial tech. So I keep some cash in Square, Southeast. I used to have some money in Shopify, but now they're way priced out of my range. But if you throw your money in there and just don't even watch the fluctuations, just every time you get paid, set a little bit aside to go to the stock market, you can see that money double, triple over the next 5 to 10, 15 years. And if you open your portfolio as a Roth IRA, you can contribute up to $5,500 every year of post-tax income. And by the time you're 60, all that money can be pulled out for free. No tax on that cash. And if you played your cards right, you could have made yourself a millionaire. There's a lot of money to be made in the stock market. And just by playing the long term, without having to time the market or without constantly watching your shares rise and fall, you can make a ton of cash. And if you just leave it in there, it just compounds nonstop. And some people are but I don't understand the stock market. It's so confusing. This sounds a lot. It's actually a lot more simple than most people think, Imagine I opened a business and I started making good money, but now I want to grow my business. I can sell half my company to some other guy to help me run that business, and I'm going to use the money that I make off of selling my half to invest in capital, to open up a new shop, all that kind of stuff. Stocks are basically the same thing, Eventually, when my business, because of the growth that I was able to get through that investment, I am now more profitable than I was before. And now that person that I sold half of the company to gets a portion of my profit. I'm not getting the full profit of the store anymore, but I'm still profiting. But my business is growing. And that's basically what the stock market is. You're getting part of a company that they're selling. They use your money to then grow their operations. And whenever they make a profit, you get a cut of that. Now also, share prices are dictated by how much in demand that company's stocks are, because there's only a finite number of stocks a company has, there can only be so much in the market being sold. Companies aren't gonna have infinite shares. They're not gonna sell their whole company. If a company's in really high demand, you can get some, overinflation of a certain share price, which comes crashing down later on. But in the long run, that company is always going to keep on growing. At least if you invest in something in a new industry. It's a very, very safe way to play the game, as long as America's economy doesn't completely tumble. And, even other countries, they have their own stock markets. If you want to invest in another country, go ahead. But an even safer way to play it is by buying out some index funds, which buys shares of pretty much the whole market. And you get all the growth and all the losses, but you generally just get the upward trend of the market. And that's even safer than buying an individual company, because if one company makes a mistake and you own that company, well, good luck. Your share price is going to drop and you're going to lose a lot of money. But if one company makes a mistake and you only own them through an index fund, all the other companies on that market are totally doing fine. You're not even going to see the difference, So, index funds are the super safe way if you really want to play the game like that. And there's a lot of easy ways to get started by getting your money into the stock market. You can start through Robinhood, Charles Schwab. I personally use Webull because of their extended hours, but there's plenty of ways to get into the stock market. And a lot of the advantages that these provide is the really quick growth of your money. For example, if you were to throw like $1,000 into a savings account, you're going to get like pennies in returns at the end of the month. So there's not much interest to be made. But if you did that in the stock market, you could end up with another couple $100s by the end of the month. The growth is really fast, so are the losses, but generally the market trends upwards. So it's generally way better to put a big lump of savings into the stock market than in your savings account. Now, there is a time and place for a savings account. For example, this is your rainy day fund. You want something you can access right away when you have a situation where you need a big sum of cash. The stock market is really hard to pull your money out of. You gotta have 3 days for your firm to, sell your shares and have them clear. And then you need another 5 business days for them to actually get into your bank account. So it's a long process. But for the money that you're planning on just saving and growing, keep it in the stock market. Get started. It's a quick way and pretty easy and safe way to grow whatever extra savings you have, and you get huge returns if you just play your cards right. And even if you play your cards wrong or if you play it safe, you're still pretty much guaranteed returns because the market always trends upwards. But that was my rant. At the end of the day, do whatever you want with your money. It's up to you. If you want to play it completely safe in a savings account, go ahead. That's your choice. But I'm just gonna educate people on basically why it's a lot easier to get started and a lot better to get started in the stock market rather than just throwing your cash into your savings account. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe. This has been Fan-Tastix, and I am out.